Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second. It makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. Let's first talk about Phoenix versus Denver Game 3. The Phoenix Suns won this game, which was not a surprise. I felt as though they were probably not going to go down 0-3 as much as Denver was absolutely killing them in the first 2 games. And ironically, I made a video about the Suns and the problem with them, which is of course the math of their mid-range attempts just doesn't really work out in their favor, shooting as many mid-range shots as they do without also getting to the paint, getting to the free throw line, getting 3-pointers up. It's not ideal. In this game, they got a few more free throws than they did in game 2. I think it was similar amount to game 1. It was Kevin Durant for like all of them. I think they shot 18 free throws and Durant had 14 of the attempts, so he made a deliberate effort to be more aggressive, and I think all but 2 of those free throws came from him in the paint. I think he got fouled on a jump shot. But yeah, a more deliberate effort to get a little bit higher percentage shot, but frankly, the 3-point volume, the free throw volume, it was still not on par with Denver, but this game, it did feel like Denver was taking a lot more mid-range shots, specifically Jamal Murray, really. Phoenix shot scorching hot from mid-range, other than Kevin Durant, because he kind of sucked in general in this game. He still hit quite a few, but Terrence Ross hit one. I think Josh Okogie hit one. I know Landry Shamet hit one, and then Devin Booker hit like 50 of them. Devin Booker is actually someone that I want to talk about because he is someone in this postseason who is getting my opinion of him to definitely go up. I felt as though he was someone that people often inserted in top 10 conversations when it wasn't really valid, like whatsoever, to have him up in that upper echelon. And while I still think if I did have him in my top 10, he would be probably 10. I don't think that's a ridiculous take anymore by any stretch. Devin Booker has been ridiculous in the playoffs thus far. I think he's averaging like 37 points per game, and we're, 7-8 games into it with him. In this game, he had 47 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists on 20 for 25. Good Lord, I didn't realize it was that fucking good. He scored 40. Oh my God. Look, I wasn't really checking the box score, so I didn't realize it was this ridiculous. I knew he wasn't getting to the free throw line, but to score 47 on 2 made free throws. He scored 45 points on not free throws, or as Twitter would call it, ethical hoops. The thing about that, though, as a lot of people have been saying, he also got 39 points from Kevin Durant. Again, didn't shoot very well from the field, but got to the line a ton, so overall his efficiency was probably fine. He had 39, Booker had 47. If they're gonna combine for 86 every night, they might win this series, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It's possible. I'm not even kidding, it's possible, frankly, because who else is gonna shoot the damn ball on this team? But I don't know if it's a fair thing to bank on, and if I was Denver, I would feel pretty good about this loss, all things considered. I would predict that the Nuggets win game 4 because you're probably not going to get as ridiculous of a performance from Booker, but maybe not. Who knows? Maybe this will be tied 2-2 going back to Denver, but I feel pretty good about their chances. Another player who had a ridiculous performance was Nikola Jokic. I think he had like 30, 16 and 17, if I'm not mistaken. 30, 17 and 17. My mistake. I missed 1 rebound. He also had 6 turnovers, and like of those 6 turnovers, 3 of them were like super avoidable bad passes, and I was like, this is a little uncharacteristic of Jokic to be so careless. He does try risky passes from time to time, but I felt like he got a little overzealous. But hey, he had 17 assists, so not like I'm faulting his playmaking here. Michael Porter Jr. showed up for this one, but Aaron Gordon did not. Jamal Murray showed up for this one for a lot of the game, for a majority of it, all the way up until the last little bit of the fourth quarter, where I decided to go back and watch the fourth quarter just to keep count. Probably could have just looked at the play-by-play now that I'm thinking about it, but oh well. I think he went 1 for 7 or 1 for 8, something like that in the fourth, pretty much exclusively on jump shots. Jamal Murray is a player who, because he is so jump shot heavy, he can have these cold spells, but also have these really hot spells because he was very hot for a majority of this game. He scored 30 points in the first 3 quarters. Denver didn't quite bring it enough. I do think their offense was a little bit more questionable at times than it was in the first 2 games. I do think the Suns played better defense. I also should talk about DeAndre Ayton, man. he's just, there's no way of other way of putting it. He's just been a disappointment. He just has. I made a video like 2-3 years ago on DeAndre Ayton when he had been in the league for I think this was in 2021, so 3 years, and I was like, is DeAndre Ayton a disappointment? Because seems like he has been so far, and a lot of Phoenix Suns fans were, I'd say fairly, in the comment section saying, hey, 3 years, give him a little bit more time. He's been given the time. And under the circumstances in which the Suns are trying to contend, they need DeAndre Ayton to stop being a theory. They need DeAndre Ayton to actually be a player that actually helps them. Jock Landale ended up getting a lot of minutes in this one because he was frankly playing better than Ayton for a lot of the stretches of this game. Monty Williams, he had praise for Jock Landale quite a bit in the post-game interviews. So yeah, I'm not feeling good about DeAndre Ayton right now, but overall positive about Phoenix and Devin Booker. Man, Devin Booker, I gotta give him more respect than I have been. He is fucking good. But let's go ahead and move on to the Sixers versus Celtics game. I feel like I don't have a ton to say about this one other than James Harden. What the hell, man? Like, he had 45 points in game one. Everyone was talking about how Houston James Harden was back, and then I think he went 1 for 10 or 11 in this one, and he was like 2 for 13 in game two. I think I saw a graphic at one point that said he was 3 for 24 in the last 2 games, and that was before the game was over. And I think literally all he did was miss all but one shot. I think he hit a 3-pointer at the top of the key off of an Embiid pass, but otherwise it was an ugly game for James Harden. Joel Embiid played pretty all right given the fact that he is playing on an injury that should have had him sidelined for over a month. But with that, if James Harden is going to be a complete no-show, I'd say Tobias Harris was just kind of out there running from what I remember. I can look at the box score just to confirm, but from what I recall, I don't know if I can think of a single Tobias Harris bucket from this game. Yeah, he had 7 points in 25 minutes. Not good. Another player who's not very good, but at least was better in this one is PJ Tucker. But yeah, Embiid had 30, 13, 3, 4 blocks, and he shot 9 for 19, and he got 12 free throw attempts where he hit 11 of them. So it's not as though, James actually hit 3 shots in this game. Good for you. 3 for 14. You crossed the 20% from the field threshold. Another player who sucked, though, was Tyrese Maxey, and actually looking at his box score, I didn't realize he was this bad. I knew he wasn't good, but 4 for 16 is rough. 3 for 9 from 3 is rough. It's not the worst, but it's not great. So yeah, those guys didn't show up, and Joel Embiid did, despite being hobbled. His team is going to need to be better than this if they're going to want to beat Boston, because right now, the Sixers just look thoroughly outmatched. The Celtics at every turn in this series have just looked like the better team. Even in game one, I'd say they looked like the better team, but James Harden just solo squatted. But Tatum and Brown combined for 50, 17, and 10. They both shot fairly well, although Tatum was put up a stinker from 3. Al Horford was awesome in this one. Marcus Smart was pretty good in this one. His field goal percentage is rough, but he made a lot of key plays down the stretch. Got 3 steals in this one. Malcolm Brogdon also shot poorly. There's a lot of ugly games in this game. There's 4 for 16, 3 for 14, and then a 5 for 15 and 4 for 12 game. So a lot of ugly shooting in this one, but the Celtics have just looked like the better basketball team to me. The 3-point shooting specifically has been key. They got up 45 3-point attempts in this one. Philadelphia also shot a lot and shot well, but Boston has felt like the better shooting team to me at large. And if James Harden is going to be a no-show, and especially if James Harden and Tyrese Maxey are going to be a no-show, you just simply can't expect to win games here. And I wouldn't be feeling good if I was a Sixers fan. I know if Embiid he played game 2, but was obviously much more hobbled than he was in this one. If Embiid was there from the onset, obviously they won game 1. Game 2 definitely could have gone to Philly. I just feel like Boston's just clearly the better team, and there's nothing else to it. And if if Embiid was fully healthy the whole way throughout this series, you might see a different result. But even then, I was already going to pick the Celtics as it was. So with that being the case, and with the shooting from your stars just not being there, a lot of players, your role players barely even showing up. The Anthony Melton was good off of the bench in this one, and PJ Tucker hit a bunch of threes when he had previously not done anything in the postseason from outside. But just not good. That's my analysis for the Sixers in this one. It's just not good. It's not good to be down 2-1, but at least you are on your home floor for Game 4. So if you can just get enough out of Maxey and Harden, and Joel Embiid can continue to be a hero, then that will be cool. Also, I forgot to mention this. Joel Embiid won MVP. I've been looking for a reason to bring it up. I didn't want to come off like I was being a hater because I didn't acknowledge it. I just didn't really have a place for it. But it was really cool to see him get that. Oh, holy shit. I forgot to mention the Grant Williams thing. Dude almost got killed. Like, not intentional. I'm not mad at Embiid by any stretch. And I saw a few people who were in that silly. Two players fall over. I think it was Al Horford and Grant Williams. And Joel Embiid was like tripped up by them, and they were in his landing space. So he was like, okay, I'm going to try not to land on top of these guys. But didn't have enough space to jump over them. His foot lands on the back of Grant Williams' head, and luckily, Embiid immediately, his other foot landed on the floor, and he put all of his body weight on that. And it prevented what could have been quite literally a fatal injury, okay? 280 pounds landing on your head face down on a hard floor. That was scary, man. That could have been so much worse. And I really felt as though the people who were like, when it happened, I don't feel like enough people were talking about that. That is the closest thing I have seen to a basketball player potentially dying on an NBA court that I have ever seen. That shit was terrifying. I'm glad Grant Williams is okay. He had a bloody face and all that, but at least it wasn't something serious, because even if it wasn't death, it could have been like a spine injury that like ended his career, maybe even prevented him from walking again. Like, it was a scary, scary thing, and I'm glad Grant is okay. I also do want to throw out there that Grant Williams was playing really good defense on Joel Embiid, which is definitely not necessarily to be expected. He does not have the height that Embiid does, but he does at least have the strength to hold him still in the post, and that made a real difference. But yeah, glad he's good. I hope they looked at his head after, because there could have been some internal bleeding after that. But yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot about that, because that's literally what I wanted to talk about the most, because I was like, dude, someone almost died, man. That's crazy. And I feel like no one cared. But anyways, that is it. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.